that stew became so toxic, the silent majority said, I want nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with that.
Well, it's another form of killing, if you'd like, but instead of killing the king, it's the killing of these idea pathogens, right? Oftentimes people will write to me and say, well, but I'm not a fancy professor with a huge platform. I don't have your influence. And I tell them, you don't have to have my influence. What you have to do is engage bad ideas wherever you find them. If you see someone posting something on Facebook that you think is objectionable, challenge them politely. If your professor says something that is insane, challenge him or her politely. In other words, it's trench warfare, right? There's an opportunity for each of us to engage bad ideas in our daily lives. It's not only the ones who have big radio shows like Glenn Beck or our fancy professors that should be speaking. If we are intolerant of really stupid ideas and engage them, we will win the battle. But if everybody says, I'm afraid to say anything on Facebook because everybody will unfriend me, well then don't be surprised that these bad ideas will proliferate.
Are you, you have studied this ideology, you've studied the mind, how it works. What is it that the other side is afraid of? And I ask this because, more and more people, and I am too, I just had Senator Cotton on, who's a friend of the Constitution, and I kind of vented through him. Where are the people that are willing to stand up and start prosecuting for crimes? When are we going to hold to the rule of law? And part of me is so sick and tired of this that I want the rule of law, but I have a feeling that the left wants those soldiers into those streets, because then you see what happens with the Palestinians and the Jews. You send in the soldiers, and immediately one person that dies, it's the big bad American military and big bad Donald Trump. They want a confrontation. What is it that you think they're afraid of, Dad?
Yeah, that's a great question, and now I learned from you, Glenn. I discussed this in the parasitic mind. There you go. You see,
right.
So here's what I think they're afraid of. When I discuss all these idea pathogens, I argue that they all have one thing in common. They want to free you from reality. Reality is scary. Very liberating idea, right? It basically says, I don't need to be shackled by this thing called gravity. I don't need to be shackled by this thing called biological sex. I could self-identify into any race, any weight, any gender that I want. It's freeing. Let me give you one other example of such an idea pathogen. Social constructivism basically argues that everything is a social construction. There is no biology. So any of us could grow up to be Michael Jordan. Well, that's a very nice, hopeful message, but it's also, forgive the term, BS, right? But it is liberating. It frees me from the shackles of my biology. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Go ahead.
No, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So, we know what this is, so what is it that they are afraid of? Reality? Of us not denying what we're seeing?
Well, as I said, it's basically if you could teach children, according to their view, that anybody could be the next greatest soccer player ever, the next greatest Michael Jordan, the next greatest Einstein, then that's a very hopeful message. It's a very liberating message. There is no objective truth with a capital T. There's only your truth, right? Who are you to judge the cultural traditions of another culture? That is their world. If they wish to cut the clitorises of their little girls, that's their religion. Who are you to judge? So in a sense, it liberates you from judging others. It liberates you from reality. It liberates you from your biology. So in a sense, it's very freeing, but it's also nonsense, right? Good, decent human beings can pursue justice, can fight against bigotry without murdering the truth, right?
Okay, you are a behavioral scientist, and you use some of that for advertising. Let me ask you two questions. Could America have been the racist America that they claim we are, and run the ads that we have run for a long time with black families buying trucks and, would Ford have done that? I mean, now they'll do it for political purposes, but they were doing this long ago. Wouldn't that stand to reason that we're not a racist country? Because if we were, we would see these advertisements with black families and go, well, that's not for me.
Well, I mean, to the extent that, yes, advertising is a reflection of the cultural mores of a society, then sure. But we don't need to do a content analysis of advertising. How about the fact that millions of white people voted for a black man to be president? Does that not suggest that we're hardly the systemic racist society that people pretend that we are? Right? So, I mean, sure, you could study advertising to demonstrate that we are racist or not racist, but how about the fact actual behavior, right? I mean, millions of people went to the polls and cried, not black people, white people cried of joy because Barack Obama ascended to the highest political office in the land. Does that suggest that we are a racist country? I say we, by the way, I'm Canadian. But maybe an honorary American, right?
Gad, why are these companies signing on for this when you said that the average person is against all this stuff? Why are these companies doing just bending over backwards and tying themselves into knots to not just be okay, but to look like they're leading the charge?
Because it is cheap corporate virtue signaling, right? For a signal to truly be valuable, it has to be costly. It has to be an honest signal. So, for example, a Saudi blogger who criticizes the Saudi regime while he's living in Saudi Arabia, that's an honest signal of his courage, right? But most people, regrettably, suffer from cowardice, including companies, and therefore they feel that if they simply virtue signal, they could placate people into thinking, my God, what a progressive company. It's cheap, it's grotesque, and it's dishonest.
And if the Marxists lose, will they be remembered like some of the other companies in past that have sided with fascists or communists?
Well, regrettably, humans have very short memory when it crashes against their ideologies. So I'm not sure if they will remember. I mean, look, think of it this way. Despite endless examples of socialism and communism failing, what is the typical rebuttal? Oh, but it wasn't true socialism. If only we could have the true utopian socialism, then everything would work. So, I mean, in a sense, that's really the whole point of my book, which is that people are very prone to being parasitized by stupidity and by bad ideas.
Right, and the name of that book is?
The Parasitic Mind, sir.
You just did it again. The Parasitic Mind is the name of the book by Gad Saad. I urge you to pick it up and read it. He is really brilliant, a very, very honest truth seeker. And you can find him at his website at gadsad.com. Also, his podcast is on YouTube. And the book, The Parasitic Mind, wherever books are sold. Gad, thank you so much. God bless.
Oh, thank you so much, Ben. Cheers. Take care.
So if you're shopping online with any kind of regularity, you really need to get Honey. JoinHoney.com. Join Honey. The Honey is this app that just runs kind of in the background, and whenever you're shopping and you go to checkout, it goes and it looks for all of the coupons, all of the different things that can save you money, and then it applies it immediately, automatically, and so you're saving money. And I mean, there's no way you can find the cheapest deals on your own. You might have a coupon or a savings code, but there might be something that saves you even more money. For instance, BlazeTV.com. If you use the promo code BECK today, you're going to save 10%. If you use the promo code Fight the Mob, you're going to save 20%. That's